All right, my name is Leon Dewan. I'm from the company Dewanatron, which is composed of me and my cousin Brian Dewan. And we're first cousins once removed, and both our last names are Dewan, so we figured, why not Dewanatron? Here's our card. Now, what you're looking at here is called the Hymnotron. It's an instrument that is suitable for hymns, and it was designed for futuristic, ecclesiastical, or secular music. So you can play sacred music, you can play profane music. It's a just intonation chord organ, and that means that it's playing chords that are perfectly in tune with themselves. Normally, if you pull your notes from the same bucket of notes and turn them into chords, if it's perfectly in tune in one key, it'll sound like crap in any other key. So the way that they get around that is they do something called tempered scales, where they fudge everything so that everything is equally out of tune in all keys. So all the music we've grown up hearing is slightly discordant because you can't play in all keys with the same scale and have it be perfectly in tune and perfectly locked. However, we have a fundamentally different way of creating chords in that we create a perfect chord and we move the chord around. So here's an example. Here's a perfect G chord, and here's a C chord. And the way you control the roots on this is with this binary keyboard. So here's C, C sharp, D, D sharp, E, F, F sharp, G, A flat, A, and so on. Then you can also move each voice around, bumping it up an octave for different inversions. So here's your first inversion, here's your second inversion, here's your third inversion. I'm not sure what that's called, but it's some inversion or voicing. And then these pedals can control the different types of chords. So right here, now you're hearing a major chord, or a suspended fourth chord, or a suspended second chord, or a minor chord. And the bass note, which is right now 1 octave below the root, can also be an octave below the third, or an octave below the fifth, or 2 octaves below the root, so you can get super bass. But that's not all. Each voice has its own individually adjustable portamento, or glide. So if I want to start with this perfect G chord, and then have it dematerialize in dissonance, and then rematerialize at the other end of this octave it's about to travel, this is what it sounds like. So, anyways, it's suitable for hymns, as I said, and sacred music and profane music. So, would you like to hear a pseudo hymn from 1970? Okay. This is the first production model Hymnotron. Although it may look like the oldest piece in the show, I actually finished it late Monday night, drove it to FedEx Tuesday morning, and then kept driving to the airport. So it was actually finished 3 days ago. And my cousin does all the woodwork. He's a fantastic artist. In fact, everything you see on this card, none of it is a computer font. He did this all with a Sharpie and then shrunk it down. So we think of what these instruments are going to do together. He's a fantastic musician and composer, and my dad was an inventor, so I grew up like building vacuum tube circuits and soldering and playing with dangerously high voltages and all of that stuff that people with normal childhoods do. And we've made a ton of other instruments, or rather many, not a literal ton, but a figurative ton. Over there is the Swarmatron and the keyed melody gin. The Swarmatron has 2 pitch ribbons. One of them controls where the note is, but it's really 8 oscillators producing the same note that you can spread out and collapse with the other ribbon. So that got used in a bunch of movie soundtracks recently, and that sort of put us into business for real. So this is our first new instrument since the explosion of Hymnotron. It's very rare that you get to hear a perfect chord, and I think you can tell the subtle difference between a chord that's perfectly in tune and a chord that's slightly out of tune. So I think people have been tuning into that, so to speak. And I haven't had much of a chance to play the Hymnotron up until now, so I'm really enjoying getting some chops. And probably by Sunday I'll be taking requests if I really have the energy for it. But in the meantime, it's been a very overall positive Hymnotron weekend for me. You can find out what we're all about on Dewanatron.com. That's Dewanatron.com.